Thank you so much.
Bueno,
Et
so we have 5
je vais
minutes
juste,
after 2.
voilà, je vais juste redire le même message en français et en espagnol. On va juste attendre quelques minutes avant de commencer, vu qu'on a 2, 3, 4, 5 participants qui sont encore en train de se rejoindre à nous. Y buenos días a todos y todas. Vamos a empezar en unos 2 minutos. Muy bien. Y buen día, Natalie, también. Natalie, tenemos interpretación en portugués, pero no falamos portugués. Entonces, we're not going to say all the message in Portuguese as we struggle a bit, but we have the wonderful Gabriela and Tanya who are going to interpret the whole call. And we will soon explain how that works. Very good. Clarice, what do you think? Should we launch? Okay, fantastic. I'm just gonna share the screen. And namaste, Sanjog. Okay.
Namaste, everyone.
Ciao.
So, how are you?
Very good. Happy to see you all. Happy to see you. And we're gonna start with a few technical things for this call. I think you can all see the screen. Yeah. So welcome everyone to this workshop, to this webinar, to this event, inauguration as well, where we're going to delve into something that's quite important for the Forus Network and for civil society and journalists in general, which is how can we do things together. And today is also the inauguration of the Forus Journalism Fellowship, where we have the chance to be joined, and you will see and hear from many of them today, by 10 journalists from around the world, and including some pairs from Latin America, from West Africa as well. Who will be for basically supporting the Forus Network, and we will be supporting each other in telling stories of change. So if you've been to Forus members before, you know that we always start with this slide, which we're going to read in the 3-4, also for the Portuguese, different languages. So this event will be interpreted in English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese by the wonderful members that you can see here below of the Forus Interpreters and Translator Pool. So today we have Daniela, we have Wendy, Patricia, David, Gabriela, and Tanya. And today, as we were telling also Natalie, we also have Portuguese interpretation. And in order to listen to this event in the language of your choice, you just need to click on this globe button at the bottom of your screen on Zoom, and you can select the language in which you would like to listen to this music, to this meeting. And if you have any issues, do not hesitate to let us know in the chat, and we can support with the interpretation. Du coup, là, je vais switcher au français. Bonjour tout le monde. Cet événement sera interprété simultanément en français, anglais, portugais et espagnol aujourd'hui par les membres que vous pouvez voir ici dessus du pool d'interprètes et des traducteurs des Forus. Du coup, si vous voulez écouter par exemple cette réunion en français, vous devez juste cliquer sur les boutons en forme de globe et sélectionner la langue dans laquelle vous souhaitez écouter cette réunion. Et merci beaucoup. Et si vous avez des problèmes, vous pouvez juste les dire ou l'écrire dans les chats et on pourra vous aider. Ahora en español, este evento será interpretado simultáneamente en español, francés e inglés y hoy también en portugués por los siguientes miembros del pool de intérpretes y traductores de Forus que puedes ver aquí en la pantalla. Y puedes hacer clic en el botón con forma de globo terráqueo para seleccionar el idioma en el que desea escuchar esta reunión. In Portuguese, I'm not gonna try, but I think we can say it in English. It will be also available in Portuguese. If you have any issues, please let us know. Muito obrigada, muito obrigado. And one last slide before we start. It's about data confidentiality. So during this event, Forus will be using artificial intelligence to capture some key points, some next steps. But if there are any sensitive topics that you would like to exclude, you can just inform the Forus staff who is here. So it's going to be me, it's going to be Clarice. We also have Lucia, we also have Vinicius and Elisa, and we can make sure not to include that data. And just for you to know, the data is usually collected just to write event summaries and is not shared with any third parties or employed for any other reasons. But please, if you have any needs in terms of privacy and confidentiality, do not hesitate to let us know. And yeah, that was it for the technical slides. Now we can just dive a little bit into the agenda before I pass the mic to the wonderful Clarice and other colleagues for the check-in. So you will see that today we have quite a few speakers from across the Forus network. So we have Sandra Mamani from Unitas, Mary who is a journalist and editor from Bolivia, as well as the lovely Nancy, who is a communication manager and journalist from Forus Platform in Bulgaria. And so we will have a panel with them, but we will also have a lot of moments where people can talk about their vision of what it should be like, the relationship between the media and civil society, and some examples of what has been working. So you will see a few of the highlights here. And one of the big highlights is that, of course, this is the inauguration of the Forus Journalism Fellowship. So we're very, very happy to welcome all the journalists and, of course, all the Forus members who are here today. Welcome, bienvenue, bienvenidos y bienvenidas. And we can just dive in, and I will pass the mic to my wonderful colleague, Clarice, who is here, of course, in the call with us. Clarice.
Thank you so much, BP, and hello to everybody. And a special hello to our colleague as well, Elisa Novoa, who is also one of the brains behind the Journalism Fellowship Program. Hello, Elisa. We are super happy to have you here. And I will be passing you the mic, of course, in a few seconds as well for the check-in. But a brief introduction, I'm Clarice. I'd like to joke around with Bibi and say I'm in charge of digital communications at Forus, but the truth is we just form one giant communications river, Bibi and myself, at Forus, and I am based in Cameroon. And I've been with Forus for a bit over 3 years now, and I'm super happy to be here. And I hope that you will find your session beneficial, interesting. Do not hesitate to share your ideas and more, and we will be sure to make the most of them. That said, I'm going to ask my colleague Elisa to say a quick hello. Hi, Elisa, can you hear us?
Yes. Hello, Clarice. Hello, everyone. I have a little bit of background noise. I'm not sure if it's too loud or it's okay. But I will quickly say hello to everyone. I am part of the Forus team. I am coordinating the capacity strengthening component, the support pillar in the network. I'm very, very happy for this Comes For Us session today and to meet all the fellows in this new journey that we're starting. I'm calling from Portugal. I'm from Colombia, but based in Lisbon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elisa. And we're going to be passing you all the mics now for a quick round of introductions, if you all don't mind. And I'm going to be going based on the order on my screen. Please, we'll be happy to hear from you, your name, where you come from, and basically what your job is, right? Whether you're a photographer, backpack reporter, whatever, a comm specialist somewhere, we'll be super happy to hear from you. So I'm going to go with the first person I see right after our interpreters and right after Vinicius. Angeline, do you mind going first?
Hi,
Angeline
good
Ochi.
evening.
Yes.
Hi. So sorry I can't open my network. I'm in a very confused place, but I'm Angeline Uching. I'm a journalist from Kenya. I'm so glad to be in this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Angeline. BKK?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon from Kasese, Rwenzori, Western Uganda. I am a social justice journalist, a freelancer journalist, director of Umbrella for Journalists in Kasese.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Thank you so much. And Bibi is notifying me that we have a very special check-in before we continue for all of you. Bibi? Are you there? But if not, but if not,
Yeah,
Blessing?
now I can unmute. So sorry.
Oh, d'accord.
Yeah,
Vas-y.
merci beaucoup. Just for everybody's here, we had just an idea to make your introductions more personal, let's say, and are ready to dive into the topic. Is that while you introduce yourself, where you're based, what your role is, if you feel like it, of course, you can also share an object that represents your work. I will make an example. Maybe you are a photojournalist and you have your precious camera. That is what you always use, but also the values that represent your work. You're not forced to do that, of course, but if you have any ideas, you can feel free to add that to your introduction. And back to you, Clarice. Thank you.
Merci, Bibi. So that said, the next person on my screen is Blessing Afolabi.
Oh, thank you very much. By introduction, my name is Blessing Isaac Afolabi. I'm based in Nigeria, and I am a photographer and a digital journalist. So yes, as Bibi said, I have a precious camera, and yeah, that has been doing justice to all I do, telling stories and talking about what people do and all. So that's just a little about me. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Blessing. Brett, you want to go next? Brett Myers, are you there? But if not, Cosmin, it's true, you said hello to Bibi and myself.
Yes, sorry, I just jumped in. I was
Do you want to
in a phone call. What am I supposed to say?
a brief introduction?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Cosmin. I represent the Romanian platform for international development called FOND. Well, I'm super happy and enthusiastic to be part of Forus at what it stands for. And well, I hope for more solidarity in the world and more peace. And this sounds like in a Miss Universe contest. But
Thank you so much.
beyond the Miss Universe contest, our struggle here in Romania, where we are very close to a war, and sometimes we feel very a part of it. It's that we definitely need, as society, we need more solidarity and more coherence.
Very
And
true.
Forus is doing a good job to assist societies and countries to and people, of course, mostly to be part of their greater engagement and values. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, sorry. Thank you for sharing, Cosmin. And Brett, are you back? Can you hear us? No. Then Dorothy, you're next. Madefo.
Hello, good morning to everyone.
Hi,
you hear me?
Dorothy. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I am Dorothy Madefo from Cameroon. Sorry for the noise. I'm currently on my maternal leave. I just gave birth to my baby, and I'm home. I'm holding a communication coordinator's role in PSI in Cameroon. And my work focuses more on localization. That is, we work specifically with civil society organizations to implement our work. So basically, I focus on impact storytelling and also digital storytelling. So I've been following Forus on LinkedIn for quite some months now, and I'm interested in what you all are doing. So I thought it wise to join the webinar today to understand more what the fellowship is all about and why not participate in one way or the other in what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dorothy, and congratulations on the birth of your new baby. You have some
Thank
few
you.
congratulatory messages in the chats as well from BB and Innocent. So we're all happy for you. And thanks for sharing. And the next is Carlos. Carlos, can you hear us? If not, Fabrice Kabamba. Oui?
Aló, ahora sí.
J'entends, je suis là. Bonjour.
Fabrice, no,
Oui,
we can hear you.
oui,
Yes.
oui, merci. Merci beaucoup. Je suis Fabrice Kabamba. Je suis de la RDC, République démocratique du Congo. Je suis de la ville de Kananga. Je suis tellement heureux de faire partie des candidats, même pas, je ne suis pas boursier bien sûr, mais des candidats finalistes pour les comptes de cette bourse. Merci.
Merci beaucoup d'avoir partagé, Fabrice. Nous sommes heureux de vous avoir avec nous également. Carlos? Carlos Arana, ¿me escuchar?
Aló, ahora sí. Sí.
Sí.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está? Carlos Arana Basto, de la Asociación Nacional de Centros del Perú. Coordino el grupo Agenda 2030 y mi participación es para conocer este espacio y ver cómo también insertar la comunicación en esta Agenda 2030 que faltan pocos años y queremos darle mayor difusión, ¿no? Gracias.
Gracias, Carlos. Gracias por estar aquí. And I'm going to switch back to English. Eden, you are next.
Hello everyone. Sorry, I'm just joining in for my network. May I please know the question? Do I just introduce myself?
It's just a brief introduction. Who are you? Where are you joining us from? And then maybe show us something that somehow represents the work you do, maybe a camera, a microphone, whatever.
Okay, I'm not sure how to do that to show you what represents what I do, but I'm Eden Benibo. I'm calling in from Nigeria. I'm based in Lagos, but I'm currently in Owerri, is the eastern part of Nigeria. I'm a journalist and the editorial director of Hello Icon magazine. We are focused on uplifting the voices of we're focused on socioeconomic justice for art and tech talents around the world, but with a special focus on African talents because there are many stories that go untold and are underreported of socioeconomic injustice for African talents. And it's a whole lot of work, but this is what I do. Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. Hawaii
Thank you.
Paima. Hawa. while Hawa is getting ready, Innocent, are you ready? Buchu?
Hello.
Oh, hi, Hawa.
Bonjour,
Bonjour à toutes. Oui, je suis là.
je pense que je vais parler en français.
Bon,
Je suis là.
Hawa, si Hawa, Innocent, une seconde, Hawa va se
D'accord.
présenter. Ensuite, vous pourrez y aller.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Merci Clarisse. Merci à tous. Et je suis vraiment contente de bénéficier de cette bourse. Alors, je suis Hawa Ibrahimada, je suis malienne, féministe engagée. Je tiens un podcast et un blog féministe où je parle de la lutte, des combats des femmes, des droits de la femme et la santé sexuelle reproductive. Et aussi, j'ai eu une association, Moussora Foura, qui, en français, Oasis des femmes, où on fait la promotion des droits de la femme, la scolarisation de la jeune fille et beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup d'autres choses que nous faisons, mais qui rentrent dans le cadre du bien-être de la femme. Alors, c'est un plaisir pour moi et j'étais vraiment surprise de voir dans mon mail Bosphorus Fellowship. Je suis vraiment contente et j'espère qu'on pourra impacter avec les récits de nos différents pays. Et vous savez ce qui se passe au Mali actuellement, voilà. Et donc, j'espère que ça vous apportera plus d'informations et voilà, et que ça pourra impacter dans le monde. Merci
Et
beaucoup.
merci beaucoup d'avoir partagé, Hawa. Et nous sommes heureux que vous soyez là aujourd'hui avec nous. Et Innocent, Bouchou?
Merci. Bonjour. Je suis Innocent Bouchou, comme Clarisse l'a dit. Je suis journaliste, enseignant et chercheur d'université. Je suis aussi boursier et content de participer à ces fellows. J'ai continué à penser que les journalistes n'ont qu'un seul maître qui est le peuple, sa communauté, mais aussi que la société civile aussi travaille pour un seul maître qui est la communauté. Donc, nous travaillons tous pour une même personne qui est la population. Et voilà pourquoi je pense qu'il est important que la société civile et les journalistes fournissent ensemble des efforts pour que la voix beaucoup plus de la société civile soit entendue, amplifiée et audible. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Innocent. Innocent, Kisa, you're next. Hello, Innocent, can you hear us?
Yes, hello.
Hello, the floor is yours. Yes, we can hear you. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Innocent Kiza from Uganda. I'm the assistant editor for Renzori Daily. Particularly we focus on environment, climate, and science journalism in Uganda. And I'm a host. I host even a health show on Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Services. And get Dr. Show. It is a health show. And I contribute to UG Tribunal, a news agency. And I'm glad to be here. I'm a multimedia journalist and a 3 award-winning climate change reporter in Uganda. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Innocent. Florence Inyabuto.
Allô?
Yes.
Allô?
Oui. We can
Bonjour
hear
à
you.
toutes et à tous. Bonjour, je m'appelle Florence Ignabounou. Je suis une journaliste burundaise et je suis ravie d'être avec vous ce soir et j'espère apprendre de vous beaucoup de choses. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Florence. Jonas? Allô, Jonas Chipadi.
Bonjour à tous, je me nomme Jonas Tipadi. Bonjour à tous, je me nomme Jonas Tipadi, je suis journaliste congolais de la République démocratique du Congo. Maintenant, là, je suis précisément dans la capitale qui est Kinshasa. Je suis journaliste tech et numérique, donc je couvre les activités de la technologie numérique pour numéro PCD et je suis encore rédacteur chef pour un média généraliste là où nous couvrons tous les secteurs, que ce soit aussi la télécommunication. Donc en général, je suis aussi très heureux de participer aussi, être bénéficiaire de cette course. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Jonas. Et Lucy from Force. Hi, Lucy. Can you hear us, Lucy?
She's in the car. I think she put in the chat that
Oh.
she's
No,
I'm here. I'm
Oh,
still
you're here
here.
now.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
yes, you're here. Great.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Hi, Lucy.
Hello, I'm Lucia. I'm from Czech Republic. I'm a coordination manager in network forum for cooperational development, and we are a small secretariat. So I am doing also the communications. And the situation in Czech Republic is after the elections not really positive. So we are expecting that we will have to communicate the positive messages of what our organizations do really professional way. So that's the reason why I'm here listening all experiences so we can learn from it and use it. And I think this is complete.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Lucy. Thank you so much. Lucia, c'est bouquet. Lucia? Can you hear us? But if not, Maggie Moret, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was eating. My name is Maggie Moret. I'm a Mexican journalist. I'm currently based in New York City, but I'll be back in Mexico City in January. I studied the bilingual journalism master degree at CUNY, and I'll be working with Paul Matos at this program. We're doing a podcast about El Tren Maya.
Oh, thank you, Maggie. And since you mentioned Paul Antoine, Paul, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Paul Antoine Matos. I'm from Mérida and in Mexico. I'm a journalist, a producer, and I have my notebook and my recorder as the exact defining.
Yay. Perfect. Thank you, Paul. This is getting interesting. Nadine, are you there? Nadine Irène, est-ce que vous pouvez nous entendre?
Allô?
Oui. Bonjour,
Oui,
Nadine.
bonjour, vous m'entendez?
Oui, nous vous entendons.
Alors, moi, c'est Nadine Njomon. Je suis camerounaise, journaliste et écrivaine, auteure de 3 livres, 3 romans notamment. Les 2 premiers sont Débrouille-toi, tu es une femme, paru en 2021. Le deuxième, Captive, qui a paru en 2024. Et le dernier, Renaud, ou l'héritier, qui a été écrit en français et rédigé en foufoulé. Je vis actuellement en France, où je suis un MBA en management et commerce depuis 2 ans. Je suis à ma 2e année. Et je suis panthère féministe. Je traite tout ce qui a trait à la femme, notamment à l'éducation, tous azimuts. Je suis la promotrice du site en ligne Sokolo News qui est en train d'être transféré à sokolo.info depuis 2020. Je suis également promotrice de l'association Rythme qui promeut l'éducation et la promotion de la lecture dans les régions septentrionales du Cameroun, c'est-à-dire le nord, l'extrême nord et puis l'Adamawa. Et parallèlement, consultante des Nations Unies pour les questions du genre, de sécurité et de paix. Je suis ravie d'être là et j'espère que le groupe Forus va m'apprendre davantage de choses et me permettre de toujours militer pour le bien-être de la jeune fille et davantage pour la femme. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Nadine, et nous espérons apprendre beaucoup de vous également. Lucien, si vous nous entendez maintenant. Lucien? While waiting for Lucien, maybe Nathalie, are you ready?
Sim, me chamo Nathalie Carvalho, eu sou cearense, fico na região nordeste do Brasil. Atualmente eu trabalho como jornalista na revista Asmina, é uma organização sem fins lucrativos que luta pelos direitos das mulheres, pessoas LGBTs. Então eu trabalho há mais de 2 anos de forma dedicada à cobertura de gênero e à luta das mulheres. Pensei em muitos objetos para poder usar. Eu pensei no lenço verde, que é símbolo dos direitos reprodutivos aqui na América Latina, mas eu também pensei num bloquinho, né? Um caderno. Ele foi uma ilustração feita. Ai, gente, não foca, não sou blogueira o suficiente. É, o nosso caderno que a gente fez na campanha desse ano aqui da Revista Asmina, porque eu também fico à frente dessa parte de como a gente conseguir grana para cobrir jornalismo, né? Então a gente desenvolveu esses caderninhos, que é uma ilustração de um projeto que a gente tem que se chama Penhas. Maria da Penha foi uma mulher cearense que sofreu violência doméstica e ela se tornou símbolo aqui no Brasil da luta pelos direitos das mulheres, contra a violência em específico. E a gente criou esse caderninho, né? O nosso aplicativo se chama Penhas e é um aplicativo de enfrentamento à violência contra a mulher. A gente tem mais de 16 mil usuárias atualmente e esse projeto tem se desdobrado em outras frentes, assim, e tem sido muito, muito significativo, né? A gente já fez 10 anos, fizemos um festival, eu fiquei à frente do festival, foi lá em São Paulo. E é isso, assim, sobre mim, estou super aberta também para a gente se comunicar em português ou em inglês, principalmente, assim. Mas eu vou lá no Google Tradutor e falo qualquer língua também. Então, muito obrigada, estou muito animada. E eu acho que Hawa, não sei se fala assim, falou sobre alguns projetos que ela tem em relação ao feminismo e à cobertura de gênero, então estou super aberta também para trocar, achei muito legal, eu só não consegui entender o nome do projeto.
Muito obrigado por partilhar, Nathalie. And Hansen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Hansen Fonchanji, Executive Editor of Cameroon News Agency. It's always a pleasure to be with Forus and members. I know the last time I took part in a communication meeting, I've always been closer to Forus. Right now I have beside me my power bank. So when I go out with my power bank. It's a very important tool because I do online journalism. So my phone doesn't need to run down. The battery doesn't need to run down. I always charge it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Hansen. And guys, we have just about 5 more people and this part will be done. I promise. We're going to go Speedy Gonzalez now. Raul, are you there? If not, Sanda?
Hello, everybody.
I'm Sanda from Latvian Platform for Development Cooperation, and this is actually my first working day in this organization. This organization unites 43 non-governmental organizations in Latvia, which operate in the areas of development cooperation, sustainable development, etc. And I will be responsible for communication in this platform, and I was asked by the head of this organization to participate already today in this forum meeting, and I'm very excited to be among you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanda. We are super happy to have you, and Bibi says you should extend her love to Ainese. And Sanjog? Sanjog, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello, everyone. Namaste. I'm Sanjog. I'm from Kathmandu, Nepal. I'm just gonna show you my camera first so you guys can guess. I'm a photojournalist, currently working as a freelance. I worked for around 15 years as a photojournalist in mainstream media. And also this, because it's the quickest one, I guess, than the cameras these days. So I cover it from both. And I'm very excited, and thank you for having me here. And yes, I guess that's it for now. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Sanjog. And Bibi and I always love your photos and for collaborating and everything. We follow you on Instagram as well. So we're super happy to have you here. Stephanie, are you there? And then Tina after you.
Hola, sí, aquí estoy. Mi nombre es Stephanie Peña, soy periodista venezolana y trabajo en Venezuela en el área de la sociedad civil. Soy oficial de comunicaciones de Sinergia, Red Venezolana de Organizaciones de la Sociedad Civil. Nuestro grupo de interés son las organizaciones de sociedad civil, en especial las organizaciones de base, grupos minoritarios como mujeres, salud, juventud e indígenas. Y bueno, estoy encantada de estar aquí en este programa de Forus. Gracias.
Gracias, Stephanie. Tina?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Tina. I cover global stories across the world that reflect countries that are underrepresented and also communities that are underrepresented, just amplifying stories in lesser covered regions as well as culture and innovation.
Thank you. We're happy to have you with us, Tina. And last but not the least, Waji Ellis.
Thank you very much, Clarice. Hello to everyone. My name is Waji. I am from Cameroon. I am a multimedia journalist and a fact checker. I work for the Cameroon Radio and Television. It's the state broadcaster in Cameroon. And so particularly I work in the northern part of the country. So my work basically it's all about amplifying the voices of women and especially children when it comes to education and other issues. So I'm very happy to be here and I hope to learn a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Waji. Thank you so much for sharing. And we followed some of your reports as well, and we find them super interesting. And that's it for this first part. Bibi, over to you.
Thank you, merci Clarisse, and thank you everybody for the presentations. So it was really nice to hear from everyone. And now we will go to part 2 of this meeting. We will have 3 parts. Part 1 was now. Part 2 is a small panel with some of Forus members and civil society organizations who share some of the synergies, practical challenges, ethical challenges, credible human-centered stories that can arise when the media and civil society, they collaborate effectively. So without further ado, I think that you can see the screen, but I will soon pass the mic to our colleagues from Bolivia. You can see here some of the issues that the panel will address. And we have our first two speakers who will be presenting together. So we have Sandra Mamani. Muchas gracias, Sandra, who has been an institutional communicator for over 25 years. And then we also have she's accompanied by Mary Vaca, who is a multimedia journalist with over 20 years of experience. And she's an editor-in-chief of several newspapers, including Sumando Voces, which is Bolivia's first digital media outlet dedicated to civil society issues, opportunities, and ideas. So our wonderful Sandra and Mary will be speaking in Spanish. So I invite everybody to use the interpretation options. And if you have any issues, do not let us know. Just a reminder, the interpretation button is at the bottom of the screen. And it's the globe, the shape icon. Thank you so much, Sandra y Mary, muchas gracias. Si quieres, puedes empezar la presentación. Solo una requesta desde los intérpretes. Si puedes
Hola
hablar.
Vivi, ¿cómo están? Buenos días.
Buenos
Hola
días.
Clarice y a todos los compañeros, compañeras periodistas de diferentes lugares. Muchas gracias por esta invitación. Para nosotros como UNITAS desde Bolivia es una alegría compartir con todos estos compañeros becarios esta experiencia que hemos tenido de establecer unas relaciones de larga duración entre UNITAS, que es una red de ONGs, con periodistas y medios de comunicación de Bolivia. Y de eso les queremos comentar. Voy a compartir una presentación, maybe, y ustedes me dicen si la podemos ver.
Sí, ya funciona. Sandra, muchas gracias.
Gracias, Vivi. Nada, bueno, UNITAS es una red de 24 instituciones asociadas en toda Bolivia. A través de todas estas sus instituciones tiene un alcance en todo el país, está presente en todo el país, en toda Bolivia. Bolivia es el centro de Sudamérica, ¿no? Del continente americano, que es en la parte de abajo, es el centro de Sudamérica. Y Bolivia, y UNITAS cubre todo lo que es Bolivia. Bueno, esta red nació hace ya casi 50 años con el objetivo de contribuir a la generación de propuestas alternativas sobre temas de desarrollo, cambio social, para una sociedad más democrática, solidaria, equitativa, siempre junto a organizaciones sociales, organizaciones populares y organizaciones de la sociedad civil. Me ha parecido importante iniciar un poco con esto que es la misión, porque de ahí nace nuestra necesidad, van a ver, de incidir. Las propuestas que nacieron de las organizaciones populares con las que Bolivia o con las que UNITAS coordina permanentemente son sobre todo denuncias de vulneración de derechos en Bolivia, propuestas de desarrollo sustentable, promoción de un entorno favorable para el desarrollo, para el ejercicio tanto de la libertad de asociación como la libertad de expresión, de prensa y las otras libertades fundamentales. Y todas estas propuestas y todas estas sobre desarrollo, sobre democracia o estas denuncias sobre vulneración de derechos necesitaban ser escuchadas más allá de solo las organizaciones de sociedad civil, más allá de las ONGs, más allá de las fundaciones. Por lo tanto, nos constituimos como en un canal, en una vía para poder conectar con diversidad de actores. Es decir, vincular a las organizaciones sociales, a las comunidades, a los pueblos indígenas, a las organizaciones de mujeres, de jóvenes, etcétera, con diversidad de actores. Podrían ser la cooperación, la misma opinión pública, los diferentes niveles de gobierno en Bolivia, ¿no? Para que esta voz realmente se escuche, estas demandas, estas propuestas que tenían además mucha solidez porque vienen desde los mismos actores sociales, necesitaban ser escuchadas. La actoría política de la ciudadanía va a ser efectiva si su voz se escucha, se toma en cuenta y por lo tanto también beneficia a la participación real de estas poblaciones en situación de vulnerabilidad en las políticas públicas. ¿Cómo lograr que estas voces sean escuchadas? Eso nos preguntábamos, ¿cómo lograr ir más allá de lo que nosotros hacemos? Y ese era un cuestionamiento que salió con una propuesta muy interesante. Trabajamos entonces una estrategia desde UNITAS que se basaba en 3 ejes fundamentales: las vocerías, generar un sistema de información sólido y las alianzas. ¿A qué nos referimos con las vocerías? Es decir, era mucho más importante y valioso para nosotros que sean los voceros naturales de las mismas comunidades, de las mismas organizaciones populares, de los pueblos indígenas, que tengan la capacidad y posibilidad de comunicarse con esta diversidad de actores, actores políticos, actores de la cooperación, actores de otras organizaciones, etc. Pero ustedes entenderán que la dinámica de los medios de comunicación también exige una agilidad, ¿no? Y una puntualidad en la comunicación. Por lo tanto, trabajamos en fortalecer vocerías naturales de estas comunidades para que logren incidir de manera mucho más clara, primero en los medios de comunicación y desde luego con otros actores. Es decir, se fortaleció estas vocerías bajo una lógica y un esquema de una comunicación mucho más asertiva, ¿no? Que empiecen un poco a declarar inclusive como titulares, para que luego las comunidades o los representantes o los voceros de estas comunidades empiecen a desarrollar cuáles eran sus demandas, sus denuncias, sus propuestas también, desde luego. Luego, vimos que además era necesario generar información, generar data, registro, que no siempre se tiene, ¿no? Un registro de vulneración de derechos, de vulneración de libertades fundamentales, un registro, por ejemplo, muchas ONGs en Bolivia llevan un registro de vulneración específica a pueblos indígenas o de quema el hábitat de los pueblos indígenas, etc. Entonces, esta información también permitía que se dé una cierta solidez a lo que se estaba denunciando, demandando, pero que además también se llame la atención de algunos medios a través del dato, de la información, con un respaldo, ¿no? Con un sustento muy objetivo. Finalmente, el otro eje de la estrategia fueron las alianzas. Y ahí viene un poco nuestro vínculo con los medios de comunicación y los periodistas. Iniciamos una alianza con medios de comunicación, periodistas y con organizaciones también de periodistas acá en Bolivia. ¿Cómo se dio esta alianza? ¿Cuáles fueron, qué es lo que primero, cuál fue la base de las alianzas, pero además también cuál fue el sustento de estas alianzas que han hecho que hasta el día de hoy sigamos manteniendo las mismas como red con diferentes medios y periodistas? La colaboración mutua. Ese fue nuestro eje fundamental, la colaboración mutua. Es decir, una de las primeras alianzas que UNITAS desarrolló fue con una agencia de noticias en Bolivia. la única agencia de noticias independiente con la que iniciamos una muy buena y fructífera alianza. ¿En qué se basó esa alianza que fue como el punto de partida y luego de ahí se desarrollaron otras alianzas con medios? UNITAS se comprometía además en trabajar en el fortalecimiento de capacidades a periodistas, ¿no? Sobre todo con un enfoque de derechos, que era también muy vinculado al trabajo que realizamos, ¿no? El fortalecimiento de capacidades se planificó con varios periodistas, además de la agencia, con periodistas de otros medios. También nos comprometimos a una generación de datos sobre el tema de vulneraciones a las diferentes libertades, pero también a la libertad de prensa. Es decir, ahora UNITAS cuenta con un observatorio bastante sólido sobre el Observatorio de Derechos, que genera datos sobre el tema de las vulneraciones y en este caso de la vulneración a la libertad de prensa. Tanto avanzó esta alianza que ahora la Asociación de Periodistas de Bolivia considera estos datos para inclusive generar pronunciamientos o cartas a nivel inclusive internacional con los datos que la red o que UNITAS genera. Defensa de derechos, ¿no? El UNITAS trabaja, ese es uno de sus ejes, la defensa de derechos. Por lo tanto, también había un compromiso de asumir una defensa de derechos cuando se trate de la vulneración, sobre todo a la libertad de prensa o de expresión. Apoyo informativo, es decir, en eso se basó nuestra alianza, que nosotros íbamos a proveer toda la información posible desde primera fuente, ¿no? A través de nuestras instituciones asociadas, a través de los estudios que realizaban estas instituciones, dándoles fuentes, voceros naturales, etcétera, y también un apoyo al periodismo de investigación. En Bolivia este periodismo, y creo que en varios lugares del mundo, es realmente difícil de realizar por el costo. Por lo tanto, nosotros previmos la posibilidad de apoyar, ¿no? Tanto logística y muchas veces a través de becas también, el periodismo de investigación sobre temas que abordan, que preocupan y ocupan a la sociedad civil. Pero como esta era una colaboración mutua, los medios de comunicación también se comprometían a dar una mayor cobertura, temas de interés común, que ya de repente coberturaban. Cuando nosotros iniciamos nuestra alianza con Agencia de Noticias Fides, con ANF, habíamos monitoreado que ya ANF tenía un enfoque de derechos y que trabajaba en temas de desarrollo y que también trabajaba con poblaciones con las que de repente nosotros también coordinábamos acciones. Por lo tanto, ya teníamos algunos temas en común y por eso elegimos esa agencia para iniciar una alianza con un medio. Se comprometieron también con los datos que nosotros íbamos a proveer, en los estudios y todo, a trabajar investigaciones a profundidad, ¿no? Agendamiento de estas temáticas de sociedad civil en su cobertura diaria, en su cobertura cotidiana, y desde luego considerar nuevas fuentes de información, es decir, incorporar a los voceros y voceras naturales de las comunidades, de los pueblos indígenas y de las organizaciones sociales como nuevas fuentes de información. Esta forma que inicialmente realizamos con esta agencia tuvo tanto éxito que luego la fuimos replicando con otros medios también y con otros periodistas también independientes. Pero luego dimos un paso más. Además de las alianzas con medios y periodistas, UNITAS avanzó en lo que es trabajar un medio propio de sociedad civil, ¿no? ¿Por qué pensamos en ello? Porque había una mayor necesidad de cobertura, ¿no? Porque los voceros que ya
Y creo que se perdió, ¿no?
Perdón,
Ah, aquí
creo
estás.
que se cortó mi
Sí.
comunicación.
Muchas gracias, aquí estás.
Hola, ¿me logran escuchar?
Sí, ahora sí.
¿Aló? Sí, ¿me escuchan? Perfecto. Bueno, estaba ya culminando mi presentación indicando que el haber generado una gran expectativa sobre la demanda informativa de lo que las organizaciones sociales, las organizaciones populares generaban como información, demandó también que se cree un medio propio. Y ahí está el Sumando Voces. Decir, nosotros vimos que el interés en la opinión pública y en otros públicos específicos como la academia, la cooperación, el mismo Estado, etcétera, es tal sobre lo que hace la sociedad civil que se vio la necesidad de crear un medio propio. Y ahí les dejo ya con Mary Vaca, que es quien dirige este medio, pero que no inició como periodista dirigiendo este medio, sino más bien ella empezó en el periodismo como todos cubrimos, ¿no? Estaba en otras agencias, inclusive en medios nacionales y en agencias internacionales, pero luego se vinculó con el periódico Sumando Voces. Y les dejo ahora con Mary para que pueda comentarles un poco cómo ha sido esta experiencia de vínculo y relación del periodismo con sociedad civil.
Muchas gracias, Sandra. ¿Qué tal? Amigas, amigos, muchísimas gracias por esta invitación. Es para mí un gusto estar compartiendo en este espacio virtual tan importante, donde acabo de escuchar tantas voces en tantos idiomas, gente de todas partes del mundo, periodistas, comunicadores. Me parece que es un espacio genial. Bueno, Sumando Voces es un periódico digital de la sociedad civil. Sandra, si es que podríamos pasar, por favor, la lámina, si es que me escuchas. Sandra. Ahora sí. Bueno, les decía que Sumando Voces es un medio digital de la sociedad civil, pero quiero explicarles antes que nada el contexto en el que nace Sumando Voces. Sumando Voces nace en un contexto de achicamiento del espacio cívico en Bolivia, lo que incluye a los medios de comunicación, es decir, ha existido una temporada que ha durado largo tiempo, 20 años de presiones a la sociedad civil, entre ellos a los medios de comunicación. Los medios de comunicación se debaten ahora, después de estas 2 décadas de presiones, en medio de la crisis económica, la precariedad laboral, la presión política y la cooptación de parte del Estado. Es decir, no ha sido un buen tiempo para la libertad de prensa, para la libertad de expresión en Bolivia, y por tanto los espacios para la incidencia, para las voces de la sociedad civil también se han reducido. Ese es el contexto en el que nace Sumando Voces. Sigamos, por favor. Creo que la tengo un poquito retrasada la presentación, pero, o si no, tal vez la puedo yo compartir, Sandra, si es que podrías dejar de compartir. ¿Aló? No, no me escucha. Ya, muy bien. Sigamos entonces. ¿Qué es Sumando Voces? Les decía que es un medio de comunicación de la sociedad civil. Si bien el medio ha surgido bajo el paraguas de UNITAS, que es la institución a la que ustedes acaban de conocer a través de Sandra, mantiene una independencia editorial y me parece que eso es central, porque si bien nosotros podemos difundir información de la institución, la mayor parte de información que difundimos es de toda la sociedad civil boliviana, no solo de la institución, no solo de los públicos con los que trabaja UNITAS. De hecho, yo diría que el 90% de la información que se difunde a través de Sumando Voces es información de toda la sociedad civil y no solamente de la información institucional que generan las 23 o 24 asociadas de UNITAS. Otra de las características de Sumando Voces es que trabaja con calidad y enfoque periodístico, lo que le ha generado credibilidad entre el público, no solamente entre las audiencias que tienen que ver con las organizaciones, sino en general con las demás audiencias. El medio produce contenidos con enfoque de sociedad civil sobre 3 temas: democracia, derechos humanos y desarrollo sostenible. Si ustedes se fijan, el paraguas es bastante amplio, entonces cualquier cosa puede entrar dentro de estos 3 ejes, porque derechos humanos es abarcativo, va desde el derecho a la vida pues hasta el derecho económico social, ¿no es cierto? Bueno, ¿cuáles son los contenidos que nosotros producimos? Tenemos un portal con actualización permanente que se llama sumandovoces.com.bo, donde difundimos noticias, entrevistas, crónicas, reportajes, con este enfoque que les acabo de explicar, el enfoque de la sociedad civil, derechos humanos, democracia y desarrollo sostenible. También tenemos un programa de streaming semanal donde promovemos el análisis y el debate sobre diversos temas. Y aquí además nosotros promovemos el diálogo multiactor porque es una de las formas de sentar en una misma mesa, en este caso mesa virtual, a diferentes actores de la sociedad, ¿no? Puede ser, por ejemplo, una autoridad de gobierno y representantes de la sociedad civil. Entonces, los representantes de la sociedad civil en este espacio tienen la oportunidad de plantear sus demandas, no solamente al aire, sino también a veces a autoridades o a personas que representan al Estado. También tenemos un podcast y tenemos obviamente nuestra presencia en redes sociales. Guiamos, por favor. ¿Cuáles son los resultados en este poco tiempo? Porque Sumando Voces desde su relanzamiento tiene apenas 2 años y 4 meses. Es muy corta vida, diríamos, pero lo que se ha logrado hasta el momento es incidencia pública de las causas de la sociedad civil, ejercicio del diálogo multiactor, promoción de vocerías naturales de la sociedad civil, es lo que Sandra les explicaba, que nuestra preferencia siempre van a ser las voces de la sociedad civil y es mejor que sean ellos mismos quienes comuniquen sus mensajes. Entonces, nuestros invitados en primera instancia a nuestros espacios, a nuestras plataformas, son los representantes de las organizaciones de la sociedad civil. Además, hemos logrado incidencia mediática a través de la agenda que ingresa a los otros medios de comunicación. Sin habernoslo planteado como un objetivo al principio, Sumando Voces se ha convertido en una agencia informativa de la sociedad civil. ¿Qué significa eso? Que otros medios de comunicación independientes toman nuestros contenidos y los replican. Solamente el año 2024 hemos tenido 433 contenidos replicados en otros medios de comunicación, lo que habla de la seriedad del medio y de la apertura que le están dando otros medios de comunicación al contenido que se genera desde Sumando Voces con las voces de la sociedad civil. Sigamos, por favor. Bueno, Sumando Voces acompaña y ejecuta. Es parte de las acciones de la sociedad civil en contextos diversos. Por ejemplo, hemos impulsado campañas de transparencia en procesos electorales. Si ustedes están informados, seguramente acabamos de tener un cambio de gobierno en Bolivia. Ha sido un proceso electoral larguísimo porque ha incluido primera vuelta, segunda vuelta, en fin. Y todo ese proceso lo hemos acompañado con una campaña de transparencia del proceso electoral. No difundimos información partidaria, sino información que hace a la integridad electoral, a la participación de la sociedad civil en el seguimiento del voto, en el cuidado que debe existir, en fin. Acciones contra los incendios y la deforestación. Hemos hecho ciclos, por ejemplo, de streamings, de programas a través de nuestras plataformas digitales para que se ponga en evidencia el daño al medio ambiente que provocan los incendios forestales en Bolivia. Solamente el año pasado han sido quemadas 14 millones de hectáreas en Bolivia entre bosques y pastizales. Y todo eso nosotros lo hemos asumido como una causa propia desde el Sumando Voces. Tal es así que en el último tiempo nuestro streaming ya no solamente se difunde por las plataformas del Sumando Voces, sino que ha logrado articular una red de radios a nivel nacional que han empezado a replicar nuestros contenidos, radios que incluso son redes en sí mismas. Por ejemplo, la red Herbol, que es una red de 25 radios y tiene una influencia muy grande en Bolivia, ya replica nuestros contenidos y otras radios también en el interior del país. También hacemos campañas por el diálogo y la paz en contextos de tensión política. Teníamos los bolivianos la duda de si íbamos a llegar en paz a las elecciones que acabamos de vivir y nosotros nos hemos embarcado en una campaña para promover justamente eso, concertación, diálogo, encuentro, a través de UNITAS, pero sobre todo a través del Sumando Voces. Y esto ha logrado que diversos medios de comunicación de Bolivia repliquen nuestros contenidos y se logre ingresar en la agenda mediática a través del Sumando Voces. También incidencia hacia candidatos con la agenda de la sociedad civil. Es decir, la idea es no solamente escucharnos entre nosotros, sino hacer que los tomadores de decisiones también nos escuchen y que puedan tomar en cuenta nuestras agendas. Seguimiento a casos de persecución y hostigamiento contra defensores de derechos, no solamente casos concretos, sino también todo lo que tiene que ver con la situación de hostigamiento, de acoso que han vivido diversos defensores de derechos en Bolivia, entre ellos los defensores ambientales, que suelen ser los más hostigados en la medida en que ellos defienden los derechos de la sociedad civil. Ese es en grandes rasgos el Sumando Voces, pero yo lo que quiero es invitarles a seguirnos, a mirar nuestros contenidos para que puedan explorar, puedan juzgar, puedan aportar. Estamos felices de tener opiniones diversas y qué mejor que sean opiniones de gente tan comprometida con la sociedad civil, con las buenas causas como lo son ustedes. Estamos en Facebook, en el Sumando Voces Bolivia, en X somos Sumando Voces Bo, en TikTok nuestra cuenta es sumando.voces y nuestra página donde actualizamos todo el tiempo la información de interés de la sociedad civil es sumandovoces.com.bo. También les vamos a pasar un código QR donde ustedes van a poder, si gustan, unirse a nuestra comunidad de WhatsApp, de tal manera que puedan recibir nuestra información para que puedan saber lo que estamos haciendo desde aquí, desde Bolivia. Muchísimas gracias, eso es lo que quería compartirles sobre el medio.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. And thank you for everything you've explained. It was indeed super engaging, super interesting. We're super happy that we have the opportunity to learn from such a rich experience. And I'm going to introduce our next speaker. Just to let you all know that we also have still very interesting activities for you ahead. Like right after this speaker as well, you will all get the opportunity to share your thoughts on a couple of issues, topics that we have grouped for you. But right now I'm going to be introducing our next speaker. She's Nancy Borisova from the Bulgarian Platform for International Development, a Forus member, of course. And Nancy is a communications manager over there. I would just like to start off by saying that when Nancy heard about the Forus Journalism Fellowship program, she was very excited and very, very anxious to share her experiences with you all. And I hope that you learned a lot from her as well as we do. I mean, I'm talking about Bibi and myself as well as we do from Nancy. Hello, Nancy, and thank you so much for being here. We're super happy to have you.
Hello, everyone. And Vivian, Chris, thank you for your invitation. I had the opportunity to listen to all of your fellows and their bios, and I have to say that I'm really impressed by you people because you're really doing a very meaningful job. And I also want to thank to the other two speakers because they shared very good tools for cooperation between NGOs and journalists. I believe my presentation is going to be quite useful because it is based on my personal experience as both journalist, communication manager, later project manager. And if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So I have a bachelor degree in journalism, and I started to work as a journalist right after I finished my my university. And later, my life went me to an NGO working on women empowerment, working on topics such as domestic violence and gender-based violence. And I started to work as a communication manager, later as a project manager, and my last role is a liaison officer. I'm working for a worldwide NGO, and I'm linking it to small grassroots NGOs working with very marginalized communities. So you can see that my whole experience is based on communication between journalists, civil society, underrepresented groups. And I have to say that it's very interesting being a journalist to work as a communication officer and vice versa, because we have very common purposes, but in the same time, we have different tools to express what we need. Can we go to the next slide, please? So what we developed in Bulgaria, and I believe it's a very good example of a good collaboration between CSOs and journalists, is that we established Journalism for Development Award. This is not something like just giving us a special prize for a journalist or something. We started with training for journalists, because what we saw is that very often we don't know how to speak with journalists, and journalists very often don't know how to present our topics. It's not because they don't want to, it's because they just don't know how to do it. So we established these trainings, and many journalists, I have to say that it was a big project, and it was implemented in many countries in Central and Eastern Europe. Bulgaria was just part of it. So we were working with a lot of journalists from Bulgaria who wanted to specialize on topics such as migrants, minorities, victims of different types of violence, and etc. Once they finished the training, we were sending them to hot topics around the world. So very often we can say that working for a media, some media don't have the budget to send their journalists to different places where the real things are happening. So we are doing our investigations on the desk. So we decided that it's very good to send these people there. I, as a journalist, was traveling to the south of Spain and Morocco. We were going to different places where migrants were. We saw how they're trying to cross the border. We met with people from Frontex, from people from the local authorities, a lot of international NGOs. So I, from my personal experience, can say that this was very valuable for me as a journalist. So later, when they come back, they're producing their materials, sharing them on their media. And later we organized this award for journalism, because we wanted to encourage these people to keep working on these topics, to keep traveling and exploring these different topics. And this is how we created a network. With this network, we keep working right now, because these journalists are already very experienced, and we started to organize, as NGOs, started to organize special events for journalists, where we don't have an agenda in advance, like we are going to present you our report or something which is probably not so valuable for journalists, but we started to ask, what are your needs? What is good for you to know? What you can want to share, to see how we can fulfill this, what you're interested in. And if we can go to the next slide, please. So we, thanks to this project, we saw that we have a lot of intersections. Let's say that both of us are working on in people's interest, in our audience interests. Both of us are working with sensitive groups, more or less with different tools. We both have access to decision makers. And sometimes it happens that you, as a journalist, can't go to a special decision maker and ask your questions, but we as CSOs can, or it can happen vice versa. Very often for me as a journalist, it was very hard to reach special marginalized communities, like, for example, migrants or victims of violence. But working through NGOs, you can reach to these people, and you can reach to these people, I would say, properly and respectfully. And here comes the next slide, where I just want you to emphasize that Of course, media law is extremely important, and you as a journalist are all familiar with this. But what is even more important is your own code of conduct. Why? Because we usually work with people who are underrepresented, whose voices can't be heard, and these are people who won't go to court, for example, and say, okay, but you used this picture and you harm me or something like this. We as CSOs, we can do so, but very often it happens that no one can respect the rights of these underrepresented groups. And here comes your own moral dilemma, what you have to do and how you have to show different cases to the world. Because, for example, you can think that a picture or just a word probably won't do something bad, won't harm anyone, but you always have to think on behalf of these people who you are interviewing, who you are seeing, and also to some people who are probably really against these communities, because your message is going to reach them also. And sometimes, even if you don't want to, it's hard to find the balance. And here, different NGOs can really support your work if you want to show it to them. And in the next slide, I decided to put a couple of tips or advices. All of them comes from my personal experience. You don't have to agree with all of them. You don't need to agree with any of them. It's just what I learned for the past, I would say, more or less 10 years working on the field. And first of them is when you start to work with NGOs and you want to explore a special topic, special person or case, you really need to show your own rules. You can show a piece of work you have already done, which shows that you respect all these people you're working with or you're going to communicate with. Or you can show a couple of, even with just you count 1 to 2 or 3, your own rules, what you won't be against, that probably you don't have to take a photo of the face of the person. You won't show their, I don't know, their voice or something, just to show to us as an NGOs that we can trust you and you're a credible resource of information. Then you have to respect boundaries. For me as a journalist, very often in the beginning, what happened was that I see a very good story and I really want to show it because I really see how influential it's going to be. But people from NGOs are telling me you don't have to show this and that because of different restrictions, because of safety reasons, and I had to stop myself or to rephrase the things in order to make them better for these people. When you start to work with NGOs, it will be very good to explain your needs because, let's be honest, very often in these NGOs, there are no journalists. We don't know how to communicate with journalists if we are not ourselves. We don't know what you need. So you have to be there and explain to us very honest how you're going to reach our communities, what do you expect from us, um, what questions you're going to ask. This is why it is also very good practice to show your work before publishing. And I know that it very often you depend on your editors. They don't want anything to be showed or before publishing. But here, when you work with people who are under some kind of danger or some kind of special situation, it is extremely important to show that we can trust you. And here again is the work of the editors, because sometimes we as journalists want to do great things, but editors are there to say no. So I want to encourage you to work either as a freelance or to work with international media, to work with international NGOs, because this is a way to guarantee that your work is more independent, it's more transparent, and people can trust you. And very short, I can say a story that when we were exploring these migrant paths between Spain and Morocco, part of our journalists who were in Morocco happened to be in a situation where police officers were against them. They stopped all our meetings with locals. They forced us to show all our equipment. We didn't manage to go out of the country because we are journalists. And if we were not part of an international committee of journalists, if we were not part of international NGO, we would have huge troubles. But thanks to our connections and thanks to the connections of this NGO, we managed to deal with the situation. Two more things that you're gatekeepers, so it depends really on you what message you want to send. Is your audience going to be tolerant? Are they going to be more this marginalized group going to be more approachable or not? This is also something that depends on you. So you have a huge responsibility, which is also a very good honor, but you have to be very careful how you're using it. And people who work in all these CSOs are very useful for you. Also, when you want to be a watchdog, to work sometimes even against different decision makers or stakeholders, we are still here as NGOs to support you and your work. And last, if I can add that there is one big difference between us and NGO representatives and you as journalists, that you have to be objective, which is sometimes very difficult because you feel compassion, you're going to some special groups and you want to help, you want to do something for them. And you have to be very honest with this group to explain that you're not there to help them. Usually they're seeking for help, but you have to be very respectful to explain that you can help them through your work. You can spread the word about their challenges or problems, but you cannot change the situation as an individual because this is not your job. This is here actually our job as NGOs. And if we can go to the next slide. I would like to finish with some encouragement to be proactive, to seek information from us, to seek people to interview, people to talk to be not to be afraid to ask even questions you think probably are not very good, and don't forget that through your storytelling, you really can inspire and you really can change the world, even the world of your region. And that's why I left here my personal email, because I want to encourage you to communicate in the future. If you need more information from me or I can support your work somehow, I will be very happy to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you. Very interesting presentation, and I could see even from the reactions and the chats as well that people were super engaged. And one thing I'm going to underline from it is explain your needs, which leads us to this part of our discussion where we want you to explain a couple of things to us as well. And we've tried to group them around 3 major themes. And we have a few questions for you, which are being displayed on the screen, which I will read as well. And here is how we want you to react. You can raise your hand and just pop, right? Like a popcorn. Whatever question you feel you're ready to respond to, pop when you're hot, raise your hand, or you can use the chat as well. We'll be so happy to hear from you, to read from you. And theme number one is building trust between CSOs and the media, like Nancy was just mentioning. We want to know what builds or breaks trust between civil society organizations and journalists in your experience, all of you here. And can you share one example of a collaboration that went well and what you think made that collaboration work? And then the second one is, what do you think makes a story about social change resonate more with the public? What makes a story about social change resonate with the public or policymakers, in your opinion? And can you share examples of your impact in this light? And finally, what stories would you like to see more? What stories would you, as journalists who are in this working group today, what type of stories would you like to cover more? So those are the three major themes we want to hear from you about. We have a few minutes for this part. So you can raise your hand or you can use the chat, and Bibi and myself keen on reading from you. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. And then we will also be using this part to, capture we'll capture this part of our discussions for a short article that will come up in the days ahead, and maybe also a guide for the journalism program. Yes, Cosmin, please.
Yes, I felt inspired by the stories heard today, and I would like to share with you the topic about partnership between CSOs and the media. And why I want to share with you this is because I'm active in the civil society for 25 years already. And at the same time, I have a background in journalism, and we try to connect the two. So I deeply sympathize with the stories shared today. Thank you for these topics. What we try to do in Romania, and just to try to answer to your questions, is to better connect CSOs with media outlets and with journalists, in order to amplify the social impact of the civil society and the positive stories. The positive stories, in our opinion, provide a deeper connection between the readers and the story itself. And another thing that we try to do, and I moved to another office in order to show you. Let me just unblur the background. But in the meantime, I try to present. Yes, now it should work. So what I wanted to show you is that what we have here is an online radio station, and we use podcasting, and not only it's a radio school actually that we have for young people in order to make them more aware of the vulnerability of media consumption, and to become more prepared to fight disinformation and fake news. And actually, I feel very inspired by like I said, by the topics today, by the stories shared today. And we try to build a network in Romania, and also at regional level, to connect the civil society from the countries across the Black Sea basin, the Black Sea area, to bring out their struggle, the civil society and the community's struggle in their fight for truth and for freedom of speech, and for human rights. So once again, thank you for this. And also what we try to do is build a network focused on the so-called community journalism, which is the journalism focused not on the news itself, but on the stories and the community behind the story. So should any of you have a similar initiative or want to build some bridges around this initiative, I'm more than willing to invest a lot of time and energy in such an initiative that I think it's what the young people and young society today needs, not only in Eastern Europe, but all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So inspiring. And I could see Paul Antoine go, whoa, when he saw your podcast studio. And I'm guessing he has a few ideas as well, just going through his brain now. Thank you so much for sharing, Cosmin. And then, yeah, I'm trying to read Fabrice Kabamba. I'm going to switch to French now. I'm saying this for the interpreters. Fabrice, nous voyons que vous avez utilisé le chat pour poser une question. Est-ce que vous voudriez bien prendre la parole pour mieux vous exprimer, peut-être? Ou sinon, on peut lire, pas de problème.
Oui, d'accord, ça va, je suis là. Merci beaucoup, Clarisse. Merci à l'équipe Forus pour l'octroi de la parole. Oui, je pose ma question, c'est en rapport avec les structures de la société civile qui agissent apparemment sous influence des politiciens, parce que nous le voyons ici beaucoup plus en République démocratique du Congo. Oui, en tant que journaliste, dans un cas où la réalité sur le terrain montre tout autre que ce que la société civile est en train de faire, ou une structure de la société civile, parce que ce sont les structures-là qui font que la société civile existe. Qu'est-ce que les journalistes peuvent faire dans ces cas? Merci.
Merci, Fabrice. Avant de répondre, Hansen, you said you have also a contribution?
Yes.
Yes, please go on.
Okay, should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, in our context, in Cameroon, I want to look at the first thematic. What really breaks the confidence between the CSOs and the media? I think that these days there's a lot of lack of transparency between the CSOs and the media. Sometimes some CSOs will come to us and they will tell us, look, we just want to share some stories we have and stuff like that. They will not really open up to you to say, look, this is a funded project. We have very limited budget or stuff like that. It's funded by this person, this organization. We are working on this, we are working on that. They won't be transparent on that because they know that once they tell the media that they are being funded, the media will not say, okay, if it's a funded project, okay, also see how you can fund our efforts. So there's this lack of transparency between CSOs, and some will not really tell you their modus operandi or the objective of maybe an article they want to share with you. You don't know if they have an ulterior motive, but then they will just send it to you and try to cover up. The media also, there are some media organs that are out just to make money. When the CSOs come, they will want to charge them so huge before you place maybe an article on their site or on TV or radio. They will have to really charge you. So some media organs really hide their agendas. They don't, media, sometimes we make profit, right? But then the primary role of existing is information and education, and of course, entertainment. But there are some media that hide their agenda. They're out purely for business. So as a CSO, when you come to such media, you find yourself looking left, right to look for money and pay them. I also think that some CSOs, this is on a personal note, they will come and give you information that is not true. Somebody will just write something, maybe because he's a human rights defender. Maybe he has not really investigated a situation well. He will come and write something that tomorrow can put you in trouble with the government or with the entity that you're writing against. And this can really bring huge trouble for the media. So I think that CSOs need to really be factual in what they do and what they say to the media. And the media also need to really cross-check the publications that are sent to them to make sure that they correct everything and all the errors are kept aside. And of course, there's lack of ethics between the two. Like there's no mutual respect for each other. Sometimes when the CSO organization comes to you, they will just say, you people of media, you like money a lot. You know, they throw some kind of words that will take you off guard and you'll be very angry. Maybe you wanted to consider collaborating with them. You'll be angry because they have insulted you that you love money. So I think that there should be this mutual respect between the CSOs and the media. Yeah, I think apart from that, maybe lastly, some CSOs exaggerate. Yeah. Maybe there's been a crisis somewhere and gunshot and stuff like that. Some pump the figures and they will not really say what really happened. And so the media, since we get some of our information from them, it becomes difficult for you when you want to write a credible story. So those are a few I've noted so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hansen. And just maybe we can go back just a few seconds to what Fabrice was mentioning earlier about what can be done. I'm going to respond in English, and Fabrice, maybe you can use the interpretation button. Nancy had mentioned earlier in her presentation that we send out the message that we want to send ultimately. We have the information, we decide how we want to send it out. So I think this is where tact comes in as well in the profession of journalism, how to send out your information and stay safe at the same time and be factual. Nancy had mentioned we deal with facts. We have to remain on it, be objective, and be able to back up what we finally choose to declare. And I think these are a few of the principles of journalism that even today in this context, we should be able to stick to. And thank you also, Hansen, for mentioning fact checking, just like what you had done at the beginning of the meeting. And I think Innocent, your hand was up, and then Bosso, and then Mark. So Innocent, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. And I'm glad to be here to brainstorm and to work as a team. My response is about the second question. Maybe you can bring it back on the screen and maybe the question number 2 that you asked, if it is possible to bring them on screen, the questions.
Of course. And while Bibi is putting that, Bibi, are you there?
Can
And
you
maybe
see the screen? Or
yes, he
yeah,
wants
it's
to
on
see
top now.
the
Yeah,
questions.
it's
Yes.
already up. I don't know if you can see it though.
Yes,
Can you
now we
see
can
it,
see
Innocent?
it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I think the number two question is what I was talking about, storytelling for social impact. What makes a story about social change resonate with the public and the policymakers? Can you share some of the examples you impact? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, true. Civil society organization, they have agenda like any other organization, and also the media houses work for also have an agenda. So, but I think we need to always be open, like supplementing the submission of my brother previous who has spoken, that we need to work together in a way that we know each party's agenda, because some civil society organization, they put a theme, but targeting a certain, maybe a certain reaction. I'll give you, for example, I worked on a story with the media, with the African media monitoring, that is in South Africa. We're pushing, it was a grand story, but I worked with different organizations like Albinism Umbrella. We are fighting for the rights of children with albinism, especially in my country, in Uganda, because there was a policy that was passed by the parliament, by the policymakers. They put a lot of taxes on imported goods without knowing that that sunscreen, it is so essential to the people or to the persons living with albinism. So there was a lot of taxes on imported goods. So at the end of the day, the children in primary section, especially those with albinism, they started missing out classes due to harsh climatic condition like extreme coldness, heat waves. So because they couldn't afford to get this sunscreen. So I pitched this idea, and the organization came up to support my idea. Eventually, I did a story, they published it, and we shared it even on international media houses. At the end of the day, recently the World Health Organization has added sunscreen to the what? To the essential drug list, and but the government, our government in Uganda, has not scrapped the law like.
Oh, okay. You were cut off for a while. Thank you, Innocent. Thank you so much for sharing. We have two more people, Bosso and then Jonas, and then that will be it for this section. Bosso, can you hear us?
D'accord, merci beaucoup Clarisse de m'avoir donné la parole. Je voulais un peu revenir sur la première question, ce que vous avez demandé. Je vais d'abord commencer par ce que vous avez demandé pour dire, pouvez-vous citer un exemple de collaboration qui a bien fonctionné et qu'est-ce qui a fait son succès? Je pense qu'en RDC, je me rappelle lors de la campagne de sensibilisation sur l'épidémie d'Ebola à Beni et la partie est de la RDC, il y avait certaines organisations des sociétés civiles locales qui ont collaboré étroitement avec les radios communautaires. Donc, les journalistes étaient régulièrement greffés sur les données épidémiologiques et les mesures de prévention. Je pense que la clé du succès était la transparence dans l'information et aussi la disponibilité des sociétés civiles pour les interviews et aussi l'adaptation du message au langage vocal. Ça, c'est ce qui a fait à ce qu'il y ait une bonne compréhension et la crédibilité. Alors, je pense pour la deuxième question, qu'est-ce qui a fait à ce que les récits des changements sociaux trouvent un écho auprès du public et des décideurs politiques? Moi, je pense qu'il faut qu'il y ait la considération des humanisations, donc présenter des histoires centrées sur les individus, soit des communautés touchées par un problème social, comme par exemple des cas de la RDC, la partie Est, là où il y a toujours, chaque jour, chaque année, les cas de l'épidémie d'Ebola, comme je viens de le souligner, et aussi qu'il y ait aussi des contextes pertinents. Des contextes de pertinence, montrer comment les problèmes affectent la population et quels sont les enjeux pour la société. Donc, je pense que si la société civile et les journalistes vont travailler ensemble, c'est le cas, je pense qu'il y aura encore. C'est comme l'exemple que je vais vous donner encore sur les campagnes de sensibilisation sur la scolarisation des filles dans le Kassai. On trouvait un écho grâce à des récits des jeunes filles surmontant des obstacles pour aller à l'école. Donc, les décideurs ont été plus sensibles lorsqu'ils ont vu des chiffres combinés et à des témoignages touchants.
Merci beaucoup, Jonas. Bosso, une dernière pensée et puis on pourra avancer.
Bonjour à tout le monde, vous allez bien, j'espère. J'aurais bien aimé mettre ma vidéo, sauf que je suis avec mon fils et c'est la catastrophe actuellement. Je suis désolée, je ne peux pas le mettre pour l'instant. J'espère que vous allez bien. Merci pour cette rencontre, c'est fort apprécié. Moi, la seule question qui me revient à chaque fois, hein, en tant que journaliste aussi, c'est le fait de réaliser qu'il y a un lien très étroit entre l'analyse que pourrait se faire euh, entre le journaliste classique et le journaliste, ce que j'appellerais peut-être citoyen. C'est-à-dire de plus en plus avec les réseaux sociaux, on se rend compte que les journalistes, le journalisme classique n'a pas nécessairement sa voix ou sa place, ou en tout cas, il perd de la place sur le terrain. Et ça s'ajoute, comme on l'a dit tout à l'heure, dans la confiance, ça s'ajoute à la confiance qui s'effrite hein, entre la société civile et le journalisme classique. Au Sénégal, en tout cas, on l'a vécu il y a 1 an et demi ou ces dernières années, ou je dirais même plus loin depuis les années 2000, depuis le début de l'an 2000, avec l'avènement de Abdoulaye Wade, on se rend compte que le journaliste classique, les médias classiques, pendant une période avec le gouvernement, donc si attaché essentiellement au gouvernement, a de la place à sa voix et à son pouvoir, ce qu'on appelle le quatrième pouvoir. Mais une fois terminé, c'est fini. Et ça détruit complètement l'éthique et l'image qu'on peut avoir du journaliste classique. Et aujourd'hui, de plus en plus, donc on a eu 3 alternances depuis, ou 2 alternances particulièrement au Sénégal, ce qu'on se rend compte, c'est que euh, de plus en plus, avec les réseaux sociaux, nous avons le pouvoir qui est attribué plus à cette jeunesse invisible sur les réseaux qu'aux journalistes avec toute la rigueur qu'il faut. Et ça, je crois que ça arrive aussi un peu partout en Afrique de l'Ouest et en Afrique de façon générale. Je sais qu'au Mali, par exemple, moi, j'ai des collègues qui sont là-bas où c'est extrêmement difficile pour eux de se prononcer si ce n'est pas à l'encontre du gouvernement. De la même chose pour le Burkina, la même chose pour d'autres pays de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Au Sénégal, il nous reste encore un peu parce que nous avons une société civile qui tient encore un peu. Et là encore, hein, il faut voir parce que pas plus tard qu'avant-hier, nous avons eu pas un sit-in, mais une tentative de formation de journalistes pour la liberté de la presse. Et vous vous rendez compte très vite que, bon, ça n'a pas été étouffé, mais en gros, ça a été discuté que par les gens qui soutiennent. Donc, cette relation naturelle qu'on a connue jusqu'ici entre la société civile et le journalisme classique, en quelque sorte, existe encore, mais on se pose des questions. Et que le véritable pouvoir, en vérité, lorsqu'on observe bien ces dernières années, c'est que ce véritable pouvoir revient au journaliste citoyen, c'est-à-dire celui qui est sur les réseaux sociaux, qui fait ses propres analyses, qui collecte ses propres informations, qui partage ces informations-là en live. Nous, on l'a vécu pendant les élections. On se rend compte que de plus en plus, toutes les informations se passaient sur les réseaux sociaux. Et pourtant, moins de 5% de la population a accès à ces réseaux-là. Et c'est ça le paradoxe. C'est-à-dire, on lutte contre la désinformation. En même temps, le lieu de lutte contre cette désinformation-là, c'est là où passent toutes les bonnes informations. Et donc, c'est cette contradiction-là que nous vivons au quotidien. Et aujourd'hui, au Sénégal, il est difficile de savoir quel est le pouvoir actuel des journalistes locaux, en tout cas, qui perdent la voix de plus en plus, ou qui ont peur, ceux qui sont en tout cas encore rigoureux dans leur investigation, peut-être craignent un peu, pas nécessairement de la part du gouvernement, pas nécessairement en premier lieu, mais de la part de la réaction des gens qui sont sur les réseaux sociaux. On peut détruire une carrière très rapidement sur les réseaux sociaux avant même que le gouvernement ne réagisse par rapport à quelque chose que vous auriez dit à la télé, à la radio ou même en ligne. Donc, devant l'incertitude de cette relation-là, peut-être la question que j'aurais aujourd'hui, c'est comment contourner cela, ou bien est-ce qu'il y a là parmi nous des gens qui ont su ou qui ont l'expérience de savoir comment contourner cela chez eux dans leur propre pays, ou qui ont vu ailleurs comment les journalistes d'investigation ou même classiques, travaillant pour les médias classiques en tout cas, ont su contourner. Ou est-ce qu'au final, c'est les médias classiques qui devraient s'adapter à contre-cœur peut-être des fois, hein, s'adapter à ce journalisme citoyen ou à ce type de journalisme aujourd'hui et s'y conformer pour pouvoir exister encore, parce que c'est très compliqué. Merci infiniment et merci à Forus pour l'opportunité de partager ceci et de partager ce journey-là, comme on dit en anglais. Voilà, merci infiniment.
Merci beaucoup, Borso, et merci aussi pour faire partie de ce programme. I will switch back to English, and I think this is a very important question that was raised by Borso, and I know that the Forest Network is very involved through certain projects, namely EUC, which monitors an enabling environment for civil society and also for journalists, on how we can maintain this balance between, of course, carrying out our activity while we might be restricted by the government or by other institutions. So this is definitely going to be something part of the program. And we are, Marc, malheureusement, on a vraiment juste quelques minutes. We will just go through the last few slides, especially for everybody who is going to be part of the program. For Forus members or others, you can already feel free to answer this very short micro survey where we take the opportunity to know how to improve this type of events. Clarice has also shared the links in the 3 languages in the chat, but you can also just scan the QR code that you find here. And just to finish on a few notes about the program itself, you can see here the wonderful fellows from all over the world, many of whom were here today, and you've heard from them what they're interested in, what they cover, how they cover, and also some of the questions and topics that we will explore through this fellowship with this very beautiful group of journalists, with others as well, and of course with Forus members and civil society organizations in the next months. As we mentioned, there is a hub. We are going to put it in the chat as well and in the follow-up email, where you can find all the profiles of the journalists who are here, but also the objectives and some of the questions of this program, because it's not only about telling stories, but it's, as we heard from Borso and all the others, and Hanson, how we tell these stories and how we can support each other. And finally, this is part of a bigger campaign of the Forus Network, which is hashtag positive narratives, which is very much linked to a lot of what Sandra, Nancy, and all of you have shared today about how can we tell stories together that bring about social change, that put a spotlight on the work that various communities and institutions are doing around the world. So we received some negative comments about the word positive in there, because sometimes there is not a lot maybe to be positive about, or we're still talking about issues, but we come from the culture of solutions journalism, and we wanted to make it echo through this campaign, and of course we will share it with you all. And now this is just a message for, of course, the fellows who are here today. Today you have heard through the members a little bit about what Forus is. So, of course, we are a global network of civil society organizations, but we are really led by our members who are all over the world in 73 countries, and we also work with 7 regional coalitions. So, of course, we invite everybody who is here today, and we will put you in touch with members in your region and in your country. And we invite you to start thinking about some of your stories that you will be covering over the next months. And for that, you will receive some guidelines, story guidelines, and some sort of guides as well from the network. Once again, we really want to thank UNITAS and PDBD in Bulgaria, as well as Côte d'Ivoire, who have helped us shape some of the program and this fellowship. And just one last thing, and then Paul Antoine, if you want, I will give you the mic, but it's in terms of the timeline. So we have not yet shared with you the terms of reference, but we will do it after this call. And we wanted first for you to be exposed a bit to the network, and then we will start communicating bilaterally and collectively. Again, you will receive the editorial guidelines, and we can discuss the plan for the stories with the objective of starting to have stories by mid-December, and in January until March there will be an editorial process which will continue, and regular check-in, and having these spaces as community. There's going to be smaller spaces, sometimes spaces like this one, which are more open. And we really hope that you will get to learn and from each other and support each other. Yeah, basically that's it. Sending again here the QR code. A huge thank you to our interpreters because they have been here for more than 30 minutes extra time with a lot of discussions and conversations across languages. So once again, as always, Wendy, Daniela, Gabriela, Tanya, David, they really thank you so much for being here as always, and being part of this community wouldn't be possible without you. We now are going to wrap up, but I see that Paul Antoine, you have your hand raised for just one final comment, and of course we can keep in touch in the next days by email with the whole group of fellows for any questions. Paul Antoine, gracias. Sí, Paul Antoine, si quieres puedes hablar, sí, sí.
Un par de preguntas técnicas. Nos gustaría, o sea, ¿la historia se debe publicar en diciembre o solo estar terminada o la primera historia?
Sí, sí, la idea sería de empezar a hacer algo en diciembre mismo, pero claramente hay mucho más historias después y hay también un plan editorial que se puede discutir y depende también del formato que van a utilizar, por ejemplo, ustedes y Maggie, si es, creo que va a ser el podcast, entonces si imagina una serie que no tiene senso, vamos a decir, de hacer una cosa solo en diciembre, más de hacer todo en una vez, no es un problema, claramente, como lo podemos discutir claramente juntas y juntas.
Perfecto. Y sobre el apoyo económico, una duda que me quedaba era, decía 1.500 euros por participante, pero no entiendo si es, nosotros somos dos, si es por participante, o sea, 1.500 euros Maggie, 1.500 euros yo, o por proyecto.
Es por proyecto, creo
proyecto.
que sí, es por proyecto y claro, ustedes eres una pareja, entonces se va a compartir por el proyecto y sí, pero vamos a clarificar todo eso también en el TOR, Terms of Reference, en inglés suena más profesional, donde va a estar todo escrito.
Perfecto. Gracias.
Gracias a ustedes y a Maggie también, gracias. Y a Stephanie también de Venezuela que está aquí y a todo y a todas. And thank you so much to everybody. We are going to wrap up for today. It was lovely to see you all. Lovely to see a lot of old and new faces. And it's been amazing to hear from Sandra, Nancy, Mary, Cosmin, everyone from across the network as always. And Marc aussi, même si on t'a pas entendu, on sait, vous êtes là. And to all the fellows, a big congratulations. And once again, to the interpreters that made this all possible as well. And to the Forus team. Un abbraccio. And Clarice, we wrap up.
Oh, thank you guys for everything, and see you somewhere in the matrix in the days ahead, and we will be sharing with you the slides from today as well as a few key points, maybe a short article as well. So thank you all and have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, mornings, and we stay in touch.
Besos, ciao ciao, thank you everyone, thank you, un abrazo. Ciao, ciao.